in this new timeline that we have tiptoed into, it fully hasn't shown itself yet for the majority of people, but those who are awakened know, they can sense it, they can feel it, it's pulling on them. And those people who are awakened have been othered at some point in their life, whether they've been labeled as neurodivergent, or possibly they are experiencing some kind of challenge in some way that makes them a non-producer, a non-performer in a matrix that is based in patriarchal, capitalistic, self-centeredness, lacking empathy, encouraging apathy. So if you are one of those people who've never felt like they belonged and who has been challenging and questioning what is going on in our world and why you would continue to be a part of that patriarchal narrative when it doesn't serve you or the highest good of all, this new timeline is for you. And I hate to break it to you, you're an awakened soul. And if that makes you uncomfortable, you better get used to it, because you're going to see more than you ever imagined, and you're going to be right. All the times where you wondered and were curious about things that were happening and why they were happening, and noticing the patterns that were forming out of all the experiences that you had, and you were told that you were wrong, that there was something wrong with you, that you needed to fix that, the fact that you think too much, that you have so much energy, that possibly you are quiet and you don't speak, but you're taking in everything. You just don't fit the narrative. Well, guess what? Now you do. And welcome to your happy place. Hi, and welcome back. It's December 23rd, 2025. I keep thinking about consciousness as it relates to humans' desire, an automatic response of noticing patterns, identifying things that repeat themselves or relate to something else or signify a deeper meaning or explanation. And how so many people in this world have been othered because of it, have been labeled as neurodivergent. Neuro, brain, divergent would be against the norm. Neurotypical would be brain, typical is the norm. And depending on where you find yourself existing, what structure, societal kind of organization, and I don't know many that are not capitalistic, patriarchal systems. And when you're within those systems, you are trained to believe that typical, the norm, is actually what has been decided by a very small few. And being labeled divergent as different or against the norm, outside of the norm, you're othered. You don't belong. You're not included in what would be considered acceptable. And this has been repeatedly coming up over the past decade. But really, in the past year and the last few months, it's more noticeable than ever. Because those who've been labeled as neurodivergent, not fitting the standards and expectations of a society, puts you in a precarious position. Well, where do I belong then? What am I meant to be doing if not belonging in this structure when I am really trying very hard to fit in? Until you realize there's no point in that anymore, because you don't even want to fit in, that you do not want to be labeled as typical or with the norm, when the norm is against anything and anyone who is curious, is empathetic, who questions things, who challenges, who wants explanations and wants to understand and connect more meaningfully, who senses they have a greater purpose than just being sheeple, following along aimlessly, feeding into something that never serves them. And so this sense of being othered, and then realizing and coming to that awareness and acceptance of it, that you never wanted to belong within that system or structure that was never serving you. You would never choose that for yourself or for anyone that you care for or love, because it's a never-ending cycle of depletion. There's no balance. There's no reciprocity. It's all one way. It's all one-sided. And it's purposeful. It's purposefully meant to drain you. It's meant to stagnate your creativity, your self-awareness, so that you may fully experience and engage in the world that is around you, your environment, having authentic connections. In my experience working with people who've been in their darkest of dark moments, some who don't even realize it, others who are very aware of it, because when you're in the criminal justice system, it is not about justice in any way. And if you were thinking that, you need to maybe look at that a little bit more closely. There is no justice. There isn't when it comes to a system that is based on the norms of a society that is meant to facilitate the well-being and wealth of a minority, of a few. So many people who are within that system and other systems similar to it have been othered in their life. And in my experience working with people who have experienced horrific trauma and abuse and then have perpetrated similar behaviors, the one thing that's common with every human is suffering from disconnection. And whether it be a disconnection that has been over amplified and fed into by the structure, because the structure itself the small few wants you to believe that you are disconnected, that you have no value, that you have no worth, and you have to continue to seek it, to achieve it, to produce it, and then to have it mirrored back to you that, yes, that is it. Good job. Keep going. You're never going to get there. Just keep going. And so having worked with people who have been through the deepest, darkest places, and to support them in seeing clearly what is happening in their lives so that they may change and shift away from that unconscious behavior pattern and step into the conscious creation of authentic connections. And that may mean showing up as your grisly self. But that is authentically who you are. And you are representing that so that others may feel and sense and see it and make decisions based on what they are connecting with. Healing and transformation doesn't mean all love and light. When you are othered, you feel like you are less than or something, or challenged in some way that separates you from ever being accepted. But when you fully acknowledge all parts of yourself, the dark, the light, and find that balance in between, no one can tell you that you don't belong. Because you belong. Not to a system, not to a structure, but to your soulful self that innately is always authentically connected. Thanks for watching, everyone. And please continue to like, comment. I love the comments. Share and subscribe. That would be so awesome. And until next time, stay safe, stay connected, and we'll see you really soon. Bye.